Hi guys, welcome back to the small holding. So today I'm setting up just a little trial to grow some root veg, just carrots and parsnips in these containers. These are 30-litre containers, they're just over a foot deep, and I'm going to be growing 2 varieties of carrots, 2 varieties of parsnips, and I'm doing 2 buckets of each variety. So what I'm going to do is one bucket I will bottom water. I've got some trays, and the water will be at about the level of the holes there. And I'll keep them watered from the bottom, obviously a bit from the top when they for germination, and the others will just be sat on the ground and watered from the top as normal, just to see if that has any sort of bearing on how they grow in the containers. And the compost I'm going to be using is a 50-50 mix of homemade compost and homemade leaf mold. I don't want it too rich, so hopefully the leaf mold will make them want to go down rather than fork too much. But let's start sowing some seeds. Okay, so the first carrot I'm doing is just Nance, very popular. It's an early carrot, and what I'm doing is I'm just broadcasting the seed, just sprinkling it as evenly as I can over the surface. I'm not going to do lines or swirls and try and plant in those. I'm just going to broadcast it, like I say, fairly evenly right to the edges, and I don't mind it being a little bit thick because I can thin, and hopefully at this height carrot root fly might not be too much of a problem. And then I'm just going to top it off with a mix of my potting mix, rather than doing little channels with my finger. I've seen people do swirls around the pot into the middle. I'm just going to broadcast and then top it off. And then the other variety of carrot is Autumn King. I'm just going to do the same with that, just trying to go right to the edge. I'll say I can always thin them. Okay, so that's the carrots. I've already done the ones that are in the water there. So all I'm doing then, this is my potting mix, which is just leaf mould, homemade compost, bit of vermiculite, bit of perlite, and a little bit of worm compost as well. The rest of the compost, like I say, is just 50-50 compost and leaf mould. This is just the nice fine stuff that I've got to top it off. And just spread it out about over 1/4 inch deep, and making sure I cover right to the edges. A lump there. And the same with this one. So I'm thinking with parsnips, this will be a good way of storing them in the shed, keeping them a bit easier to harvest through the winter, perhaps just knocking them out of a bucket. But we'll see how they do. It's just a trial. I like to try different things. So that's those done. Oh, you will have to excuse me, I'm using that kneeler because I damaged my knee a couple of weeks ago. Just having a little bit of a hard time kneeling down. Yeah, I can't fully bend my left knee, so it's a bit of a pain, but I've got lots of kneeling to do at the moment with getting beds ready and stuff. Parsnip is obviously a bit easier because the seeds are way bigger and you can see where you're putting them a lot better than carrots. So I'm just going for one seed. I'll about every sort of couple of centimetres, maybe a little bit thicker. As I say, I don't mind thinning them. You sometimes get quite sporadic germination with parsnips, and so it's sometimes better to sow a little thicker and just thin them a touch. Oh, so that one was white gem, and this is a variety that I tried last year and did okay, called Guernsey. No real noticeable difference, to be honest, between this and the white gem, but it's always worth trying new strains, new varieties. Just trying to fill all the gaps so there's no big gaps. There we go. Same thing then, about the same depth. This carrot's 1/4 to 1/2 inch, no more really. And just level that off. Oh, it's really bright today. It's still a little bit chilly in the wind, but when I've had some lovely weather here in the UK the last few weeks, it's been one of the driest Marches I can remember. Right, so what I will do now is just give them a bit of a water, just obviously for germination, and then I'm going to fleece them over. Oh, these are the trays I'm using. Obviously you get these anywhere for your grow bags, and that's Milo howling at the ambulance siren. Yeah, Milo, it's gone, it's gone. Yeah, so that's about the height of the holes in the buckets, so hopefully they'll do all right. So I'll just give these a gentle water, just moisten them. I've already pre-watered the compost before I sowed the seeds, so that was nice and damp, fully all the way through till it was coming out of the bottom. Right, so that's moist enough. And then what I'll do, just because we've still got, even though we've had some lovely days, it's still pretty cold at night. Haven't had a frost, I don't think, for the last week, but you never know, so I just want to protect them a little bit. I've got the buckets all labelled so I know what's what. What's going on there, that's doubled, so yeah, so I'll just put that over like that, a couple of bricks, and then as soon as they've germinated I can decide whether to leave it on for a little bit longer or whether to just take it off. They should be okay just coming off by then, I should imagine. But for now, that'll just protect them a bit. want any cold nights, and hopefully they'll do all right. And what I'm thinking is for winter storage, so like the autumn carrots and obviously the parsnips, once they die down, I can take those into one of my sheds or into the compost area here behind me and keep them in the soil, just ever so slightly moist and just stacked out of the way. I do leave things in beds and dig them up. I've been digging up my parsnips through the winter, but sometimes it's nice to just get things clear so that you can get your compost on and get it all ready for the spring nice and early in the winter. So maybe if I harvest my beds first, because I'm going to do beds as well, I'm not solely doing these, this is just a little trial this year. So I'll harvest beds first and then perhaps store these in future. If I do a few more, I can store them for the winter in a building and get the beds cleared first. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they do anyway. Just a little trial. I'll come back and let you know how they've got on. But until then, we'll see you around, guys.